Hi, I'm Bert with Goalie, and here are some stretches goaltenders need to know before stepping on the ice. We are back again with the amazing Jess Otero, yoga instructor. Jess, how are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. This time I want to get your insight on stretches specific for goaltenders. What should we be focusing on prior to practice or games to maybe prevent injuries and just feel better?
Awesome. Yes. For hockey goalies, we want to open up the hip flexors, the quads, and the glutes. So that's what I have in store for you today.
Let's see it.
So now we're going to go through some of these basic goalie warm-up yoga stretches with Bert.
Great.
So we'll start with this lunge position. Let's get your back foot on the mat though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just step your right foot forward. And I'm going to ask you to tuck your back toes under. Yep, and then kind of isometrically hug your legs in towards one another so you get some stability from that. So it's almost like you're trying to drag the back knee forward.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then from here, you're going to reach back and see if you can take hold of your left foot.
Ooh.
Take your time. Yeah, it is a little bit tricky balance-wise, and one thing that can help is if you take your right palm and just press it right down on the knee. There you go. Look at this beautiful quad stretch. Good job. Excelente.
I could already feel more kick saves in my future.
Awesome. And then so from here, we're going to transition into our lizard lunge. So you can release your back foot, take both hands to the inside of your front foot here, and you can even toe heel your foot out to the side a little bit wider. And then take your hips gently, lovingly, with the breath, forward and back. As much or as little feels good for you. If you feel tight, start with small motions. And if you feel like you're feeling limber today, you can take it to the edge of what feels good for you. So shifting the weight forward and back. And then, if and when you feel ready, you can shift the hips forward and hold. Maybe experimenting with coming down a little bit further with the chest and torso. So maybe bending the elbows. Yeah, like Bert, I might suggest walking your hands out in front of you and then working on lowering your elbows towards the floor. Now, they don't have to touch the floor. Maybe they do, and then you're awesome. You're super flexible. And if they don't, it's just let's try and move the elbows equally towards the floor. That was awesome. And then to get a little bit extra bonus stretch, you can come up onto the outer edge of your foot, and we'll show this on the other side too. But just let this knee come out to the side a bit more, roll up onto the outer edge of the foot. Yeah. Just notice how that stretches a slightly different part of your hip, and it's good to get into all the different parts so that when you get into the game, you're ready for anything. All right, you can back out of this. Good job, Bert. Nice.
I'm ready.
We're going to reach back and take hold of the foot. So first, just hugging the legs in towards one another so you feel nice and stable. Because when you come up onto that knee, you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm not balanced. So just hugging the legs in towards one another and then lift your back foot. Reach with your hand, take hold of it. Yep. And if you have any, yeah. It does take practice, and that's all good. Take your time. Move slowly and mindfully. And then if you have any flex in the elbow, you can bend the elbow straight up towards the ceiling or the sky, depending on where you are. Yes, beautiful. Nicely done. So from here, we'll go into our lizard lunge. So you can release that and then bring both hands to the inside of your front foot. Yeah, toe heel your front foot out just a little bit more and shift the hips forward and back, as much or as little feels good for you. Nice. And then pausing with the hips shifted as forward as feels good for you. And then maybe walking the hands forward a little bit and letting the elbows dip down. This is the kind of thing that you want to be experimental, you want to be mindful, you want to be playful. Just, bending the elbows and see, what does that feel like? How does that feel? Does it feel good? And just another reminder to, stay within what feels good for you, and yoga shouldn't hurt. Beautiful. And then if you want to take the knee a little bit more out to the side and roll onto the outer edge of the foot, and you can see it better on this side. That just slightly changes the dynamic of the stretch to give you a more well-rounded opening. Nice. And then when you're ready, just gently press yourself back and we'll set up for our Virasana or hero pose. Okay, cool. So I'm going to ask you to scoot yourself forward. Yes, you already know. So knees together and heels and feet slightly apart so that if you were to sit down, your bum would go right inside your heels.
Great.
So you don't actually have to sit all the way down, but because some people, like, there's a disclaimer for this pose, which is be careful with your knees. And if you have trouble with the knees, you can do this, but you might want to sit up on a couple of pillows just to keep your knees safe and healthy. So from here, your hips are oriented like straight up and down. And as you kind of shift your weight back, so send your hands back, like your fingertips back, you're going to start to adjust your hips from being straight up and down to being more on an angle. So you get a straight line from like your crown of your head to your knees. Yes, perfect. And here you'll get a stretch through the front of the quad, you get a stretch through the front of the hip flexor, which are both areas that are critical for hockey goalies. So if it feels good for you to bend the elbows here and try to like come down a little bit closer towards the floor, that's a way to deepen the stretch if it's appropriate for you. For Bert here, I think this is actually a great stretch, and the way he can get more out of it without lowering the hands is to just experiment with lifting the hips. Yes, beautiful. Also, if you turn your fingertips to face the front of your mat, so you have them like this, there's actually nothing wrong with that, but I find if you turn your hands this way and bend into the elbows, you might find that you have a little more like lift. Beautiful. Awesome, Bert. So there you have Virasana, the third of some critical yogi hockey goalie stretches. Yay.
Great.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Good
Yeah,
job. How do you feel? You
Great, yeah.
You ready to
I'm ready to play.
save some goals?
Save some goals. Whew, thank you again to Jessie for joining us. You can find her information below about her online yoga class that includes a live performance from a cellist. Stretch and relax.
Yes, keep on stretching so that you can feel good in your body and be the best goalie you can be.
Jessie's information is in the description below. Now that you've seen this video, no one is allowed to get hurt. I'm Bert from Goalie. Thanks for watching.